there we go. The first ban called from Nemesis this time. Celeste here not being played on the Fold, and Rekt is banning Vox for Legacy Reborn. So that's pretty interesting. Seems like they are afraid for the pick here from Nemesis, since of course Vox on 1.8 is more based on crystal power, and in 1.9 we see here also not a shift but also being offered more possibilities or more ways to play Vox. Again, weapon power, and that is the way it should be here, because Vox is super versatile, and yeah, you can pretty much adapt to anyone you face, going either weapon power or crystal power. But since we're playing the matches here on 1.8, we can be pretty sure if we see a Vox that it's 80-90% crystal power. So first pick.
Still waiting on that one, so Nemesis needs to win this one if they want to drag it into a third match. Actually can't really see that happen so far. I mean, Code has such a strong performance in the other matchups, but this and the one before, I'm not sure. He does still Nemesis. They need, I don't know, they need to buckle up, or they will basically get kicked out, or at least kicked down into first place by Legacy Reborn.
So let's see. Scarf is the pick here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you are first pick and you have Celeste and Vox banned away, you're looking for the Scarf, and that is a very smart pick, I believe, to begin with. Ideally, an Arden would come into this, depending now what Legacy Reborn is going to answer. It could be that we do see something totally new. We know that old school likes to play different styles and stuff all around the heroes, and it's actually nothing surprising. It is a Taka. We actually, all of our casters around here, and Blue and me as well, we are all not really comfortable with Takas at the moment. I don't know, it just doesn't really feel that he is strong enough in 1.8. Not sure how that is. At least it felt like it in the matches, all of the matches we had today.
So Rekt is picking, besides Tucker, also here Arden for Legacy Reborn, and that opens another 2 picks for Nemesis,
or at least to wrap it up, their last 2 picks. So Arden out of the picture. They cannot totally go now for Catherine. Works out as well. They could go for the Fortress pick. Nope, they are going for Catherine and Koshka. Hardek is stating Koshka twice, as in, yes, really, we are going to play Koshka. I am looking for the yummy catnip Francis already.
Jewel is the final pick here from Legacy Reborn, and that is the matchup here for the second match, best of 3. Legacy Reborn rolling over Nemesis, and we will see if Nemesis have a chance here in the second match. So good to go, starting the match, hopefully seeing a good one, and we will see if Old School can show the same performance as he just did with Vox, but Vox is banned and therefore not played by anyone here on the Fold, and everyone locked in their choice. We will throw it back to Valdez and Tasty Bacon in just a few seconds.
Shatter the Vain, a podcast about vainglory.
Welcome back to the Halcyon Fold for game number 2 of Nemesis versus Legacy Reborn. And we are having a bit of an interesting pick here, having the Koshka actually come in. I haven't seen her in quite a while, actually. And what do you think about that pick, Tasty Bacon?
I personally love the Koshka pick just because Koshka is probably one of my favorite heroes in the game. So even if it's not necessarily the most competitive pick, I absolutely love getting to see it, especially with this skin. Everything that she does is so flashy and colorful. It just makes the game a bit more fun, I think, to see a Koshka on the map. But we'll see how it actually plays out. There's really only the one stun to kind of stop her ultimate coming through. But of course, it can also be reflex block really easily, which is one of the big downsides of the Koshka. But if she can just run around freely in a fight, can do a ton of damage with that the B ability, as they actually picks up first kill here in the 2-on-2 fight. Hardek gonna go down very low. Taka will pick up the return kill, and now Lost Boy Toph is gonna have to run as Taka pops the Kaku to get a bit of healing, and 1 for 1 in this early game.
Yep, very nicely done by Pawn to secure that kill and continue to try to take some of the farm here, looking for these minions in the backside. Wants to get that last hit, but here comes the Koshka, and he's gonna try to go for the juke, but they do see him with the flare, and they are gonna try to chase him down here, going for the recall. That's not gonna work.
And Lost Boy Toph, getting a little bit lost there, trying to get around for the stun. They do pop the Kaku again, but will take out the kill. Finally going over to Koshka. 2-1 now for Hardek here on this unusual pick, but working out thus far.
Yeah, it's kind of insane how much damage he was actually able to do to both of those two heroes, meanwhile not going down for such a long time. Good effort, but will of course eventually die. Rex trying to secure the kill here onto Toph, who's of course very low. Leave that to Taka, but actually Pawn is just going to back off. The main reason I ask about that Koshka is because there was a duel open, you know? So I was like, oh, you're picking Catherine. Why are you going for the Koshka? I mean, we've seen Jewel Catherine work out so well as a jungle composition, especially for ganking a lane. And if they had taken out the Jewel, we wouldn't have seen the Jewel on the opposite side from Legacy Reborn on Old School. And maybe it would have been like another different squishy laner. And Jewel's also like a really awesome laner at the same time, so they would have opted to take that pick away. Meanwhile, I'm missing a fight that's actually happening in the jungle. And
it's going to be Hardek trying to get a second kill. Did pick up the kill onto Taka after Taka took down Lost Boy Toph, but now Old School coming down to join the fray will pick up one of those kills. The Rocket Leap hits a stun, and with the combined help of Rekt, they will pick up a kill for themselves, a second kill for themselves, and Legacy Reborn, just like that, jumps out to almost a 1k gold lead, picking up a 4th kill on the map. And, you know, going back to what you were saying about the Koshka, yeah, it was definitely a questionable pick in terms of the, you know, competitive aspect, but I think maybe after how hard they were beaten in the previous game, Nemesis just wanted to try and pull out something weird, something that maybe hasn't been seen in a long time, to try and catch them off guard on the side of Legacy Reborn. And it seemed to be working early on. You know, Koshka does have all three of the team's kills, but as I mentioned, you know, it's a hero that is rather easy to counter and is usually best for it's really strong in solo queue games, like in the you know, mid to low skill tiers especially. But I don't really like to pick in competitive, as they're gonna be finding Pawn though. That's a ton of damage immediately onto both Taka and Arden, and now they're gonna be trying to finish off at least one of those kills. They do get the Arden there. That's one of the strengths of the Koshka though, is that surprise damage if they can get the jump on you.
Yeah, gonna be able to take that off. And look at this, Old School is jumping in, no fear, 1-on-3. And he's actually going to get the kill onto Catherine, and here comes Taka looking for the kill now onto Koshka, but Scarf all alone, no focus onto him, and cleans up towards the end of that fight.
Yeah, so brings the kills back even to 6 apiece, but it is still a 1k gold lead in favor of Legacy Reborn, despite the kills being picked up by Nemesis, and a lot of that it can be attributed to the farming. Taka with 26 and Jewel with 58. Compare it to the 14 from Koshka and the 52 on Scarf. Just much better farming being done right now by Legacy Reborn.
Yeah, definitely. They're pushing their early advantage with this Taka Arden composition. The Jewel's doing quite well in the lane, getting a huge amount of farm. And we're going to see another engagement here. The Kaku coming in, trying to focus down that Koshka very nicely. But look at this, Coed's going to be close and supporting his team. But Old School also coming down the lane, trying to focus down onto Hardik. He will get the stun, and he will clean up that kill as well. Now Coed's all alone, trying to goop it up here, but gets jumped on by both Taka and Arden. And there was no hope there as he goes down as well.
And now 8-6 with those 2 kills picked up, and they're going to immediately turn their attention onto the gold mine. Really nice decision here from Legacy Reborn. Lost Boy Toph not going to be able to really do anything about that, especially on this Catherine, but going in too far is going to get jumped on. The stun coming out from Jewel, and Taka will clean that one up. And now they turn their attention. The big red button coming out, putting out some solid damage, forcing Coeds and Hardik to have to back off.
Yeah, just everything's seeming to go right once again into Legacy Reborn's favor. Able to pick up these big kills. The Koshka, you know, has hit level 6, but I have not seen the ultimate come out just yet, unless I missed something. So going to be looking to focus that onto probably the Taka if they can land onto him, try to burst him down before he can really Kaku away and be as tricky as a Taka does. Besides that, maybe you can jump onto Old School. He's not all that tanky, but he does have a reflex block, and as you were saying before, it's really easy to see the ultimate coming out of Koshka coming and just reflex block that down.
Yeah, it's gonna be, again, really fun to see because it's so colorful when Hardik does finally get that ultimate off. As there it goes onto upon the original. It does stun him up for quite some time, but here comes the Jewel with a triple stun on the Rocket Leap. That is going to be devastating for Nemesis. Upon the original, jumping in underneath the turret is very likely going to go down from the next turret shot. It will go off. It will take him out. But that is an ace picked up as they do finally take out Hardik on the Koshka in the back of the jungle.
Yeah, and after this, I think they might be able to take down this turret. We do have Scarf coming back now into the lane, though. It looks like Jewel, Old School, is going to try to focus down this turret, and Arden is just actually going to use the gauntlet to zone him out. And that will be that turret coming down, but they may want to wait for that gauntlet cooldown to come back. It's a pretty long one at around 105 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. Although the also a long cooldown is the Koshka ult, but of course, with the passive of Koshka, it does every single one of her abilities cools down by 1 second every time she attacks. So it's a deceptive cooldown timer because it is actually significantly lower than whatever you see. So they are going to be getting chased out by Pon the original, but this could be a 1v3 here. Pon getting a lot of damage done onto Hardik, though. They will back off to safety. Of course, not having that first turret anymore means they have to back even further before a fight can be disengaged. But they will get out of that one. The gold lead really kind of taking off in this last minute or two here for Legacy Reborn, now up to about 5,500 gold lead with just about hitting 10 minutes. Here comes Hardik trying to get in onto Old School. They do stun him up with the Catherine, but that's going to be only about a fifth of his health disappearing, so not too much to worry about.
Yeah, we've seen nothing but 2-0s yet today, and we're on track to get another one here. Questionable draft, as we were saying. Not the best effectiveness, and we're seeing Jewel just be so powerful so far. Once these pro players found out how to play the Jewel most effectively, she's just been a terror in all of these big games, and I'm definitely going to take that to solo queue. I wasn't the biggest fan of Jewel back in the day, but now I'm like, well, I mean, if you can get any sort of farm, especially in the lane, because you can get so much farm, you can get that Sorrow Blade out super quickly and just do huge thunder strikes, and especially if you're facing a squishy composition on the other side.
Yeah, I think Jewel's real strength is in the coordinated team play. You know, when you have your allies on voice chat with you, so you can coordinate when you're gonna go in with her. But definitely, there's enough of a delay, I guess is the right word, when you use the Rocket Leap, that even in solo queue can be extremely effective if played properly. But like you mentioned, it's really the damage from that Thunder Strike is the big thing. Is hitting the Koshka just once takes out a big chunk of her health. Now it's going to be Wreck taking a lot of damage here, but the big red button will go down and disperse that fight completely.
Yeah, and Taka, meanwhile, is not even here. He's actually just farming the jungle, taking every single camp, and not a single member of Legacy Reborn is going to go down for all of that trading. The Gauntlet was used, but besides that, not really taking much, and Taka is getting extremely farmed at the same time.
Yeah, Taka's sitting up at 70 last hits compared to Koshka's 28. That is a huge disparity in terms of farm. Koshka does have 5 kills, but so does Taka. So it's not even like she can say, all right, well, at least I have the kill advantage. They're even on kills, and Legacy Reborn is just looking so much more impressive in this third place game than they did in the semifinals.
Yeah, for sure, and they're just going to continue to look to push these lanes. They haven't taken either of the minion mines, especially against a Scarf. You don't want to do that because he could just clean up the lane regardless of how strong the minions are, really. And we're just seeing, once again, Taka's farming while Jewel attempts to go 1v3 with some support from Arden occasionally. And it's working out. They just farming up, taking all the lane minions while Taka gets really, really fed.
And one thing that's kind of a surprise to me is the Koshka build opted to finish a Fountain of Renewal as the first item. So not even really building damage on her, which I feel like that's a bit of a mistake. Again, somewhat questionable builds coming from Nemesis. This is the second game in a row that I've said this about their item choices. As the Catherine rushed the Crucible, which that's perfectly fine, but you really don't want to have such a big support item that is really only there to help the team for the most part on one of your carries. At least not this early, as there is going to be a fight going in underneath the turret. The rocket jump is going to displace them a bit. Big red button trying to clip Hardek with the tip of it, but does not connect. And that's actually going to be a fully disengaged fight with nobody going down.
Yeah, somehow, some way, nobody goes down. It's really interesting. The other build that was interesting as well was Scarf rushing a Shatterglass. You know, especially we're playing on 1.8. We were talking about how strong Broken Myth still is. You could get that. You could get an Eve of Harvest. But the Shatterglass rush is not something you see all too often. So, also a pretty interesting build coming out of Coeds. We are at around 14.5 minutes, so the Kraken is going to become another issue here, as Legacy Reborn is up 8k gold, and they're going for another engage here. Coed's being jumped on by that Taka, and just huge amounts of damage coming out. We are going to see the Koshka going down as well, and a bunch of damage coming down onto Toph, and they will clean that up for the Ace.
Yeah, Ace with minions right at the turret means they are going to pick this one up for sure. They may even decide to continue pushing. We'll have to see. Of course, Kraken is just coming up, but they should be able to take out this turret. The respawns are starting to come through, but that turret's going down so quickly. Even without Pon there from the start, they're going to be able to take this one down and then retreat. Another it's you don't really want to question the item builds of the team that's winning so decisively, but the Jewel currently has a tornado trigger and also has a barbed needle. Typically, you see Jewels wanting to just get a Sorrow Blade and then stack Monocles. So just trying to get that crit damage on the Thunderstrike, and Jewel is not typically one who's known for her auto attack damage, which Tornado Trigger, of course, getting all that attack speed. So I'm not really sure what's up with that one either. But again, it's they are winning, so I guess you can't really say too much about it. But there is going to be a gauntlet thrown down. A nice ultimate from Koshka will get canceled about 3/4 of the way through. Nemesis is going to be losing quite a bit here. That's 1 kill, that's 2 kills. The big red button to finish off the third. That was a 2v3 ace, as Pawn the Original was down by the item shop this entire time.
Yeah, this is turning into a bit of a trolly one, to be honest. Like, all the stuff you mentioned about the interesting items. I mean, he's picked up a monocle by now, but
Oh my goodness, 500 damage on the turret with a crit.
He's doing some intense damage to all these turrets, and both of them will go down here. They're actually going to engage onto Hardik, and he is very low. Will go down. Old School all the while taking a bunch of damage, but it just does not matter. Getting the barrier here from Wrecked and just trading. And finally, we see Taka coming back in, going to try to burst down Coeds, and he will go down to one last Thunderstrike. And at this moment, they're just playing with their food, and it looks like they're finally going to come back and focus down this Vein Crystal for the win. Taking third place now is Legacy Reborn.
Congratulations to Legacy Reborn. Finishing in third place means that they are going to be coming away from this tournament with $900 as well as 60 circuit points heading into the live finals. Of course, it's going to be the top 8 teams from this tournament and the next qualifier, which will be starting in November. Head over to VaingloryLeague.com to keep updated on when the signups for that will go live. It's going to be 64 teams that are going to be able to participate in that. So the top 8 teams in terms of points from this tournament and that tournament will be getting a place in the live finals, where $15,000 will be on the line from each region. So there's a lot to be had. Getting those extra 20 points could turn out to be really, really big for Legacy Reborn, looking to get into those live finals. But congratulations to them, and unfortunately for Nemesis, they will be taking 4th place. Still not too bad, $600 for the team, as well as 40 circuit points. So we will see how that will pay out in the next tournament after. But before we get to the next tournament, we do have the finals of the preseason qualifier coming up. It is going to be Ardent Alliance taking on Vaughn, the number 20 seed, making it all the way to the finals. I cannot wait. We're going to send it back over to Germany to get ourselves set up for that big final match.